Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mental Health Matters with me. And in this week's episode, we are going to be talking about myths, all the myths that have ruled the world about mental health um, since the beginning of time, really, or I would say since the idea of mental health being something that is vocalized, something that is known, something that is acknowledged, there has been a whole lot of myths and ideas, um, assumptions really around mental health. And it's very important for me to break them down. And I know that a lot of assumptions, there are a lot of myths out there, but I have the top 7 myths and assumptions that I think are very common in every community, in every space, no matter who you are. Whenever we talk about mental health, it's highly possible to find these kinds of assumptions and myths. So the first one is about mental health itself, what it is. Um, a lot of people, when they think about mental health, they're just thinking, oh, mental illness, an illness of the mind, mental illness. You're just sick in the head and you're crazy, right? That is usually how it goes. And I have actually went on my Instagram and I had a poll. So I had 5 questions that I asked everybody, and I had everybody vote for whatever answer they resonate with. And one of the questions that I asked on my Instagram poll is, what's the first thing that comes to mind about mental health? First thing that comes to mind about mental health. And 69% of everybody who voted chose the option of thoughts and feelings. So 69% think about thoughts and feelings whenever mental health comes to mind. And a good 31%, they just think mental illness, like I said. Oh, it's about crazy people, people that are not okay up here, and all that. So that is the biggest myth whenever we hear mental health. People that are crazy, people that are insane, people that are not okay. Where I come from, people would say things like, you're not okay upstairs, like you're not okay in your head. So that is the biggest myth. And it's very fun for me. I really do not take it seriously or take it too hard. I think it's so funny, and you know I really find it funny because that is not the truth. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. That is not what mental health is all about. In fact, in my last video, I did define what is mental health versus mental illness. So make sure to check it out for you to gain clarity around that. So another big assumption, whenever we think about mental health is, oh, feelings and emotions. It's about how you feel. Every single time it's just about how you feel. Feeling sad, you don't feel okay. It's feelings and feelings and feelings. And for some people, they just generally think, you know what? This is a waste of time. Why are we even? Why are we even talking about feelings? I don't want to talk about feelings. I want to have a good time. I want to do what I need to do. I want to enjoy myself, which is valid. It's valid for you to say, I don't want to talk about feelings. I don't want to talk. But are we actually vocalizing it? That is the question. Are we vocalizing it? Are we aware? When you're by yourself, alone, are you aware as to why you don't feel comfortable talking about feelings? I mean, we are humans. We come with it's part of the package. It is just part of the package. We come with feelings and emotions and thoughts and everything. And once again, in my previous video, I did talk about what consists of your mental health system, what it is, and your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, how they all work together and influence your behavior and what you think about yourself, and so on. So, mental health has so many aspects to it. It's not only about your feelings. I'm feeling this and I'm feeling that and I'm feeling that. Um, it's there's so much to it. How you operate, how you communicate, how you do what you do when you're out there, when you're working or you're with friends, you're at a party, wherever you are, your mental health system is just always functioning, helping you out in those kinds of situations. So it's not only about that, it applies to money, it applies to relationship, intimacy, so many things, um, where we can see clearly that our mental health is in progress, it's working, it's in action. So I also asked on the Instagram poll a question about talking about feelings, right? How do people feel? Talking about feelings. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay. What do people think about their feelings? And a good 56% said that it's too deep. I don't want to lie. I also agree with that. It's just too deep. It's intense. It's a lot. It's so much energy, so much strength. So 56% said that it's actually too deep, and 33% said that it's strange. I just felt a pang in my heart when I saw the 33% saying that is strange. And I was just like, wow, when you feel everything, right? You feel everything. And I understand maybe for some people it's like, listen, I feel the feelings, the emotion, but I don't want to talk about it. That's strange. Why am I talking about it? When it's so automatic, when it's so obvious that I'm feeling something, that so obvious that we feel every day. um, but also, I think this is some of the things, or one of the topics that I will touch on in the near future, about why it's important for us to talk about our feelings, why our feelings matter, um, and what really happens if we don't talk about our feelings. Because there are moments in your life where you will have to talk about your feelings, because if you don't address your feelings, then it is very evident in your actions that something is wrong or something's been wrong. And when something is being wrong, at times it's just too late for you. It is just too late to resolve whatever conflict. It is just too late for you to turn back time and do better for yourself. So we will touch base on that. And let's go to number 3. So on my poll, I asked about what do people generally do after having a bad day, or just a bad moment, or you're just not feeling good. And about 50% said that they are just going to sleep it out, or they usually sleep it out, or cry it out, which is good. And about 25% say that they would rather just watch something on TV, whether it's a series, whether it's YouTube. Listen, it's just something, so some entertainment, some visual entertainment, to just take the day off. And then 17% said they actually do talk to someone, which is also really good. And only 8% claim to just, go out and have fun, do something fun, a nice fun activity, which is also great. I really liked this question. And it takes me to myth or assumption number 3, which is, whenever we have bad moments, you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to deal with it. Whenever you feel bad, you feel terrible, you just had something bad happen to you, you're just not allowed to talk about it. You need to chin up and be strong and be this and be that about it, which is very dangerous, I mean, 80%, if not 90% of adults um, are struggling because as children, we are told that you shouldn't acknowledge how you feel. And sometimes acknowledging how you feel doesn't need a solution. It's not a solution thing, but for you to actually express it, let it out, that can really help you a lot with how you deal with things just in general. So the biggest myth is really don't deal with your feet, be strong, chin up, move on, life moves on. Those things, those quotes, life moves, yeah, actually, there's that quote, life moves on. Yeah, definitely, it does move on. But why is it that we are not allowed to express how we feel in the present moment? Why are we not allowed to say exactly how we are feeling? Because what happens when you don't actually acknowledge? And you don't have to stand on top of a mountain and shout it out that you're not feeling good. No, are you actually acknowledging it to yourself? Is it okay for you to acknowledge it to yourself? Because then if you don't, where does the feeling go? It doesn't go away. It's just going to remain there. It's going to be there, and it's going to affect how you generally function, how you process emotions, just your emotional intelligence in general. And I hope that we can soon talk about emotional intelligence because it's actually a thing. All right, so let's go to our next biggest assumption. One of the biggest assumptions that actually, a problem or a thing, I would say, would be just the idea of a therapist and a psychologist. I mean, it exhausts me. It really, really exhausts me. But let's break it down. So one of the biggest assumptions and myths is that a psychologist is there or a therapist is there to help you with not to no actually let's remove that, not to help you with, but to help you solve your problems. That guy or that girl has the answers. Like that woman or that man has the answers to your problems. And if they don't, then they are not doing such a great job. Then they are not a psychologist or a therapist. Um, and this myth, this assumption is closely linked to the assumption of you only go to a therapist when you have a problem that you need to solve. Yeah, you only go to a therapist when you have a problem that you need to solve. Other than that, no, and not just any problem, like a life-threatening problem. You're about to the world's about to end type of thing. That's the only time you only go to a therapist, when you need to solve problems, and the therapist has all the solutions. Another thing is the fact that psychologists or therapists can read minds. They need to know what's going on the minute you step into that door. They need to know what's going on with you. Your responsibility is not to say anything. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Just step in, and the therapist, that they know, okay, they know. And it even goes deeper to a point where some people just think, if you are a therapist or psychologist, like you just there to solve life problems. You're just there to listen to people's problems, like that's all you do, type of thing. And that is not true. I am not a psychologist or therapist. I'm a coach, counselor. um but all I can tell you what I can tell you is that is not true. That's not true. Therapists, psychologists, mental health specialists, and facilitators are there to help you with your mental health. They are there to assist you, to facilitate you. You are responsible for solving your own problems. You are responsible for figuring things out. You are responsible for your own thoughts and emotions. It's your mental health system after all. And they are just there to facilitate you through the hard stuff, the things that you don't see, the things that you're not willing to acknowledge in order for you to come up with a better solution for your life. So that's just really what it is. And I guess this is one of the biggest myths or assumptions. Now let's go to myth number 5. Um, wow. As a Black girl, Black woman, Black individual, really, I think one of the biggest myths and assumptions is that mental health in general just does not belong to our culture. It's just not part of our culture. It's not part of the culture. We don't know it. We don't know it. We don't deal with that. It's not part of our culture. That's not how we do things. And that has ruined so many things. That has destroyed the livelihoods of people. That has contributed to a lot of generational trauma, a lot of generational curses, the deep stuff that we all don't want to talk about. Well, that myth has contributed a lot to that, because how, when we are human, we are all human beings, regardless of your race and your culture and your language and your ethnicity. And we all have a mental health system. So how? How? It's like saying this particular culture, ethnicity does not believe that we actually have a kidney, or we don't have a respiratory system, we don't have lungs, no, we don't believe in that. We don't believe that our body has those kinds of organs or that kind of system that helps, that facilitates with breathing. So I mean, I've always heard that all my life, and my parents, um in so many spaces and communities, and even today it is still a thing, that in our cultures, in this particular race, in this particular community, um mental health is just not our thing. And that's not true. No matter who you are, if you're a human being, if you can acknowledge yourself as a human being right now, you have a mental health system, and it's there. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't get rid of it, unfortunately. So make peace with that, and that's exactly what will facilitate you in this life. And this is also very closely connected to the previous myth and assumption and the poll question that I asked, which is going to a therapist. How do people feel about going to would they ever go to a therapist? So 25% said that they would go to a therapist out of curiosity, which is good. I really think it's good, so that you just see, like, is this for me? What's going on? What's just going on in this space? What is just going on? What did these people actually do? I really think curiosity is just the best thing ever. It's just the best thing ever, because it will lead you to so much. You will learn so much. You will gain so much from that experience. So I am generally just happy with that. And 50% said to seek advice. Definitely, which is something that I said previously. And this is really good. It shows that we are all just trying. We are all just trying to make it work. We are all just trying to understand ourselves better. And keep in mind, we don't only go to a therapist, psychologist, a mental health specialist just for advice. Sometimes you just want to know yourself better, learn about yourself. What are your strengths, your weaknesses? What are your skills? What can you invest in? How can you invest in yourself? How can you profit on yourself? Who are you? If you have problems trying to really see where you fit in, whether it's socially, spiritually, in any aspect, you just want to know more about who you are, you just want to know how you fit in and so on. This is a really good investment in terms of your health. This is what I call taking care of yourself. So why not? And 17% said they would never never go there. They would never go there. And it's okay. I understand, um I understand. I understand. I actually do. But, there's so many factors, of course, in this 17% of people. And there's so many factors. It could be that, it's just not part of your belief system. Remember, we also have belief systems and so many systems that form a part of our identity. It could be a religious thing, you're not allowed. It could be just the beliefs that you have about yourself, so many things that your ideas, your background, your who you are, your identity. Just like, I just do not identify with the idea of going to a therapist, and we fully respect that. So also another myth that we are going to look into would be the expense of actually going and seeking a mental health service. I just have to be honest, it has been expensive. It has relatively been expensive to go and seek therapy, at least in South Africa. I don't necessarily know about other countries, but in other countries it seems like it's relatively affordable. But in South Africa in particular, uh, where I'm based, I really think that it is costly. And this is why we need to inform ourselves and realize actually that we have so many options. We have counselors, we do have free counseling options, we do have group therapy, we do have so many services. And I know it's not easily accessible for everyone, but what I'll try and do in my next video is provide all the information, at least in South Africa, about where you can go and seek free therapy and counseling. Because right now, it's safe to say that right now or recently, there has been a lot of free options that I've been seeing. And it's becoming a thing. We are slowly moving into that space where therapy will at least become as accessible as um, going to a medical doctor, going to a GP, and getting a service from a doctor. At least if it can just come down to that cost range, then we are making progress. And if there's more free spaces and free options and accessibility, and I think that we will be on the right path. So I will definitely work on how I can gather that kind of information. And the last assumption that I really want to talk about, which is a new age assumption, if I may call it that, because it's part of this generation. It has been part of this generation, really, this whole, or this era, or this um timeline that we're in, is about the fact that everybody's going through something. I don't know. I don't like that. I personally, I don't like that, and I don't appreciate it. Yeah, everybody is going through something, but Are you everybody? You're not everybody. What you feel and what you are going through is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So when we use that to say that everybody's going through stuff, when we use that as a band-aid, as a plaster to say that I don't want to deal with, I know it's fine, I don't want to deal with this, or you just overlook your feelings because everybody's going through something. Are you everybody? That is the question that I just wanted to ask you, because you're not everybody. And when you don't take care of your mental health, when you're not invested in your mental health, you will go through it. You will go through it by yourself. We need to also realize that this is aligned. This is in line with taking care of yourself as an individual. Before we care, before we look into how other people are doing things or what other people have to say. This is why we have this whole platform, so that we learn a thing or two about our mental health before you even go to somebody else, before you even seek advice, before you even seek guidance, even from a professional, because you need to know, you need to have a clear idea of what is going on with you before you consult everybody or anybody. And I really think this assumption needs to die out, because so many people need help, and whenever they reach out to you and me and whoever, it's like, oh no, but everybody is going through something. I'm coming to you, I'm confiding in you as an individual. I'm not coming to you as everybody. So what are you talking about if you say everybody? And if that's the kind of assumption that governs your life, you're in trouble. That's all I'm just gonna say. You're in deep trouble, and that's sad, actually. Also, the last poll question that I asked was just the topic of mental health, just mental health being a topic in a subject. Is it really a thing for you? And 50% of the people said, actually, when it comes to mental health, it's a private and confidential thing. You don't talk about it. You can't just rock up and boom, mental health topic. Like, let's talk about our mental health. It's actually private and confidential. Um, and this goes hand in hand. This is closely aligned to the idea of talking about feelings, to the idea of a therapist, to the idea of just mental health in general. And I hope we can realize, or I hope that we can eventually make this a general topic, something that we talk about. I mean, if you could easily say, I have a headache right now, can you easily say, I'm not feeling well right now? I hope that with all this knowledge and information and enlightenment, we can slowly but surely move into that space. 30% are saying that it's non-existent in their spaces, and wherever there, it's hayo. It's not there. It's non-existent. Cut it out. It's not there. So once again, I really hope that it could be a thing, slowly but surely we can move into making it a thing. And 20% actually said that it's sensitive. And I have to agree that it is a very it can become sensitive, because you are somehow required to go deep. You go deep into emotions and feelings, but you can absolutely discuss mental health as a general topic without going deep into it. You can make jokes, you can laugh about it. It's just a topic, it's a thing. But I understand that it is sensitive because it's triggering to some people. And if it is triggering to you, that is a sign that You need to start working on your mental health. There's something that you need to work on. That is your biggest sign and indication of how or what you need to do to navigate your own mental health. So these are the top 7 myths and assumptions that I have. I mean, there are so many assumptions, like I said, and I think it was very important for me to cover these main 7 myths. And thank you so much to everybody that was able to participate in the poll on my Instagram page. I will leave the details below so that you can follow me and join in. We are going to have so much more polls and that kind of thing going on so that we can engage more about this and have fun, because mental health doesn't really have to be so tense and so deep and so sensitive and so uptight and boring and this and that. So join me when I am, asking you these questions and us figuring out what is it that we can do. Thank you so much. All the information is below in the description box. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I will definitely see you next time. Take care of yourself and see you soon.